Welcome back to another Canadian Disc Golf Productions coverage of female disc golf in Ontario. My name is Kat Johnson and this is
Jess Sparrow.
And we will be your commentators for this 18-hole roulette round.
Today we are at the amazing Lafortune Park Disc Golf Course in Caledonia, Ontario, Canada. This course was founded in 2018 by Devin and Kyle Grutenberg, and it's an 18-hole championship level course that has that's on a long retired campground and has a great mix of wooded and open holes for some nice tee shots.
So let's introduce our competitors for today. Here we have Brianna V from Ayr, Ontario, Colleen M from Burlington, Ontario, sipping her coffee. We have Kat J, myself from Toronto, Ontario.
You look like you're ready for business, Kat.
Oh yeah.
Them shades.
And last but not least, we have Melissa M from Burlington, Ontario. She plays too much disc golf, according to her tell. So here we are on hole 1. It's a par 3, 255 feet. Nice little tunnel shot to start us off for the round. Luckily today we had significantly less snow. So here we are. Starting off our round is Brianna. Getting a kick on the right hand side on those trees there. Tough starting hole.
Yeah, next up here we have Colleen. Let's see how she tackles this hole number 1. And a good line down the middle, a little left, but I think she'll have a good putt. Oh, and a kick back to the center. So lucky.
Ooh, that was nice.
We got Kat here, my fellow commentator. How did she tackle this hole? Let's find out.
So I think a good approach on this hole would be to throw kind of a nice, reliable disc that you can get nice and straight. Looks like I flipped up my disc a little too much, but it kind of rode the right side and faded back into the middle of the fairway. So I'll have a look.
Next up here, rounding out the tee box on hole 1 is Melissa, and an early tree kick, but gets a significant way down that fairway.
That is some tree love right there. So as you can see here on the bottom of the screen, every player has 6 discs to start with for this round. And basically, for those who are new to the format, so we'll break the format down for you. So everyone, like I mentioned, starts with 6 discs in their bag, and it can be a combination of their favorite drivers, putters, mid-ranges. It can even be all the same disc if that player prefers. And after completing each hole, the player who has the best score gets to take a disc from one of their competitors with the worst score. And then players are knocked out if they have no other disc remaining, and the winner is the one with the most discs in their bag at the end.
Well, thank you for recapping how roulette works, and look at that plastic playback.
In the midst of all that explaining, we missed a great, fantastic, huge putt from Brianna. If you've watched any of our previous coverage, you'd know that Brianna is a fantastic putter. She just has a knack for that, and so she comes screaming out the gates. That amazing putt.
And a good putt here from Kat, finishing up the hole strong.
I needed her to get that, but not everybody puts her. Oh, yeah.
Getting that birdie on the first hole.
More investment in that throw, I think.
Not something I'm used to on this hole, but
I was like, just don't miss another.
gotta happen sometimes, right?
Every now and then. Not too many birdies, otherwise we get a little too confident sometimes with disc golf.
I don't.
Just enough birdies.
That's right.
If everyone's cool, not marking. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Not
Must be the shades.
Hey, you gotta look the part.
All right, and we have Kat here stealing a disc
there.
from Melissa.
So sorry to have to do
Pick
this
out
to
of the
you.
bag. And again, Melissa probably has a combination
What
of
do you have
putters,
2 of?
mid-ranges, drivers,
Everything.
anything that's going to get
I'll
her through
take
these 18
this
holes.
one.
And it looks like Kat picked.
Yeah, so I feel like
Putter, what did you pick there?
the orange
Kat?
one's your favorite
that
one. I
is
don't want to do
Mel's
that to you right off the bat. So
It's one of her 2 roos in her bag. This one's kind of a more premium plastic.
feels nice.
Yeah, it's just a putter that she really leans on, and I've thrown it before. It flies so well, nice and straight.
All right. We have hole 2 here. It's a par 3, 240-foot hole. Looks like elevated basket. Always a surprise. How are you going to tackle this hole, Kat?
So there's a couple of ways you can attack this hole. There's a big tree line kind of right down the middle of the fairway, so a lot of players like myself here, just kind of hanging a hyzer wide of the trees, hoping to skip and hyzer into the basket. And then you have other players who just take more of a straight direct approach, but it's a bit of a tighter, more technical line. We have Brianna here kind of doing similar play as myself.
Take that line.
Some people like to kind of just play the trees a bit and kind of play the luck and hope to skip through the trees. Looks like Colleen's doing just that, and Mel also throwing a throw right wide of the trees. So great set of drives. Mel's just got a nice around look.
Nope.
Looks like her disc kind of got caught in the branches there. Brianna, nice wide open approach to the basket, nice and safe. I unfortunately went a little too far and ended up skipping into the trees at the bottom there, leaving myself with not much of a look. And then
Oh, the roll away, the heartbreaking roll away. Look at that roll. That is a plastic playback roll.
heartbreaking, ill-advised run. I should have just laid up, but sometimes you just gotta go for it.
Oh, that was a great comeback effort though, Kat, even though it was off the bottom of the basket there.
Very intimidating putt here, with the elevated basket sitting on the edge of the hill. You know, your disc goes a centimeter too low and could spell disaster. So Colleen playing it well. She gives us up an uphill putt and puts it in for her par.
Way to finish up there, Kat.
I finished the hole. That's all that
And
matters.
Brianna with the tap out.
You never know on this hole like what you're gonna get.
And Melissa as well to finish up hole 2 here at Lafortune Disc Golf Park.
So with that double bogey, that puts me at the bottom. And since Brianna and Colleen, they both got pars, that means they both get to steal the disc from me. Brianna taking my fierce, which she knows I love to throw. And what is Colleen gonna take?
I love the choices, you know, as people are pondering what are you picking out of the bag.
She goes with my proxy.
Great. Those are, I didn't
You know,
want
there's
those
different
discs
strategies
anyways.
you can approach. You can take their
Take
favorite
'em.
disc, or you can take one that you think you're going to throw very well. So different ways to approach a roulette round.
Depends on how, you know, how savage you want to be during the round, like how much you want it. So here we have hole 3. It's a par 3, 249 feet. It's a really technical hole, so many trees to throw, get your disc past, and there's a few lines. You kind of have to get lucky on this hole. Brianna just peers one of the gaps and then gets a bit of a tree kick, but she kind of ends up towards the far end of the trees, giving herself a more open look.
Let's see how Colleen does.
Oh, okay. Is that gonna be clean though?
Clean.
Yeah. Oh, that's like
The high hyzer gets through all the
Did
trees,
anyone watch the coverage yesterday of Calvin?
gets a fairway down the fairway.
And Melissa here trying to tackle this hole with a nice forehand flick. A little bit of a tree hit, but in the middle.
He like this entire run up. Could be fairly neutral with the tail end.
It's rare to miss trees on this hole. That's for sure. Looks like I'm throwing Mel's Ruru that I stole from her last hole, trying it out. All my throwing putters have been stolen from me, so had no choice here, and to get the great double tree kick. Landing right in the midst of all these beautiful tall trees. Ooh.
Good approach from Mel there. She'll have a good putt to finish it up. Let's see how Kat does as she tries to lay one up here for her next shot.
Just yanking my forehand on the left side of the trees, ending up in the schnarb, as they say.
Oh, the schnarb.
The dreaded schnarb. Colleen getting out of the trees. That's for her second throw, I believe. So setting herself up for a par putt.
And this is Brianna's second throw as well, I think, and also setting herself up for the par. A little bit of ice, you can tell. Lots of disc golf curling a little bit by the basket today on hole 3.
There's still a few patches of snow and ice on this course. You know, of course, they're going to be near the basket. And a little run there for myself, trying to save my par, but no bueno.
Good putt from Mel here to finish up strong. She wants to keep all the discs in her bag today.
She likes it. All right, Colleen trying to get herself some good footing for her par putt.
And a solid putt from Colleen. She's a really good putter, you know. She's got a lot of tournament time and competitive rounds under her belt. And so, you know, it's come to be expected that Colleen's going to sink them putts.
Speaking of competitor rounds, we've got ourselves a very experienced and talented group of players here. Let's throw some fun combined player stats at you all. So these 4 ladies have over 15 years of disc golf combined, have over 140 events played, and over 51 career wins. So this is a very decorated group, very experienced, and just, you know, just a great group of people. Just such a fun time. You're always going to have a fun time with this group here.
Yeah, it's nice to see and hear those stats, Kat. Thank you for sharing them.
So with that,
Kat is going to get some other discs pilfered from her bag here, and it looks like Brianna's making her choices.
That one looks
Clever choices.
I didn't lose enough discs last hole, so
less than 4 months old.
gonna go and lose 3 here.
Oof, that's a hit.
That stings.
Sure.
3 on 3.
Brianna's taking my Discmania method.
Never.
Just kidding. Stable mid-range.
That's a good one. That's a fun one. Let's see.
Colleen here.
That's mystery.
What is she going with? I have a few drivers, fairway drivers. That looks like my Discmania SOC3 Canadian Nationals.
Last one. What's it gonna be?
Fancy.
Beautiful metal champion plastic.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm just helping you make your bag a little lighter, you know?
They heard I got back problems, so I'm all pumped. I'm left with,
I've never thrown
I think, 1 or 2 discs now. We'll do a disc recap once that graphic comes back up. But moving on to hole 4, 271-foot par 3. A little bit of an uphill hole. We have a couple of guardian trees around the basket, so it's really kind of stopping you from going that wide hyzer route, adding a bit of challenge, and we got a bit of wind out here, so Bree ends up going a little bit, flipping up a little bit, going to the right.
Let's see how Colleen tackles this hole 4. Again, a little bit of wind carrying things out to the right.
Good stability on her disc there. Hyzers back a little bit towards the basket. Mel going with the falk that she stole from me, showing the flippiness of that disc.
All right, and we got Kat throwing, you know, one of her left discs, you know.
1 of 2 of my discs left. As I mentioned, we're gonna do a quick disc recap here. So I'm left with 2. Melissa's got 6, and Brianna and Colleen both have 8 apiece. So let's see if I can hang on and keep some discs in my bag, or maybe get some back.
Good approach shot here from Bree, right under the basket. That's where you want to be. You don't want to have to be putting uphill.
Especially not on this slippery snow.
Good effort from Colleen as well. Let's see how Kat does.
Going for a bit of a layup, soft bid there. Also giving myself just a little tap in, not messing with that icy snow.
Smart golf there.
No, the determination. Runs her putt. Bit of bad luck on the basket there. She was right on it.
And another solid putt from Colleen here on hole 4 at Lafortune Disc Golf Park.
If I don't fall today, it's going to be a miracle.
I love this course personally. I know lots of people have touted this as their, one of their favorite courses in Ontario. It's truly a gem. you know, such a great mix of wooded, open holes. Some are, you know, big bombers. Some are very technical. You know, it really lets you throw all the shots.
All right, so there's some discs being exchanged here after hole 4. Looks like Brianna is rifling through Mel's bag, trying to pick out what she's gonna add to her collection of what she can throw, or how she can even hinder her opponents.
Ooh, looks like that one hit really close to home there for Mel. Brianna taking her Mel's Ruru, which we know Mel leans on a lot. Colleen going with, I believe,
Cutthroat.
Votem.
Man.
That is one of her Mel's favorite drivers, and I'm stealing my
boring.
back.
I'm familiar with it. That's fair.
All right, we are at hole 5 here, and it is a par 3, 210 foot. Again, you know, a little bit of elevation. It looks like an elevated basket as well. One guardian tree, or like side guardian tree here from the tee pad. So let's see how these ladies tackle the hole.
So popular play here is just to throw, you know, either a little bit of a hyzer or a straight disc right at the basket. Let it check up the hill. You don't want too much of an uphill putt or a, you know, a downhill death putt. So just checking up to the basket is the best play here, or better yet, acing it.
It's a good shot there from Colleen. She's gonna have a good birdie run from there. And it looks like the wind is coming into play. There's a big, you know, right to left wind coming across this fairway. So let's see how Kat does. Line it up with your falk.
Yeah, just getting that falk out. It's a nice straight throwing disc. It can be flippy depending on the wind, so I kind of yanked this one a little bit right, but I'm still kind of near circle 2, so I have a look for a putt there.
And rounding out the tee here on hole 5, we have Melissa. Let's see how she does, and it looks like it's going to come back left. It's a good shot there. All these ladies looking at a good putt here on hole 5.
Are there going to be some exciting plays? Any big runs? People trying to get some scoring opportunities? Woo. Really good bid by Mel there.
Another good effort from Brianna.
Trying to decide here, should I go with a staggered putt or a straddle putt? I'm kind of obstructed on the right there. Go for the straddle, just miss it a little too low with Mel's Ruru, because that's the only putter I have. They stole my putting putter away from me. Colleen runs it. Just a little low, but very close. Speaking of death putts. Woo!
Ooh, nice putt there from Kat. It's a do what I say, not what I do. Don't want the death putt here, but she makes it anyway. Even in that wind, look at those tree branches flapping around. Doesn't make putting easy here on hole 5.
It's really swirling and challenging us around here on this hole. But, you know, with all these putts going in, really making it seem like the wind is not a factor.
Easy tap from Colleen, finishing up the hole here. And another tap from Melissa.
The best kind of putt. I was like sitting there going like,
Onto hole 6.
don't mess this
Beautifully
up.
done.
Don't fudge this up now.
It's so much worse though when we're all just
Always
tapping
feels
in.
good
It's like
when you
one
play a
screw
hole.
up could mean 3
well.
years.
Next up, we have hole 6. It's 240 feet, par 3. We're looking at, you know, a fairly wide open fairway. There's, you know, some, you know, a grouping of trees on the right and left, but they don't often come into play unless you really, you know, hang a disc out wide. The basket's kind of situated on top of a mound, so it's kind of it plays a little bit uphill. You know, there's some pine needles close to the basket, so the green can be a little fast. So sometimes if you throw a drive straight out there, it'll, you know, shimmy on up to the basket. So let's see how this group does here.
Lining up her shot. Trying to see if she can gain back some discs here. Come on, cat.
Oh, and I flip it up. Hits one of those trees that I said we're not really in the way, but anything could happen. It's windy, it's spring.
Look at that shovel floating around too, you know? That's how you can tell it's windy out here.
That's right. I didn't even notice that shovel when we were there.
Mel following the cat line into a little bit of trees and
I think what she was saying there is that she just wanted to hang out with me. If not, I mean, that was definitely just subconsciously, you know?
yeah, good up there, cat. You know, that's where your alti background comes in with a little bit of a flick approach. Let's see how Mel does here on her upshot.
Speaking of ulti, Mel and Brianna also come from an ultimate background, as you might be able to tell just from some of the styles of her throws, with the patent pendings. You know, that's a common style of throw in ultimate, so it comes very naturally to ultimate players such as ourselves. It's very cool to see all the ultimate players coming in to disc golf and really embracing it. And here we have Colleen with the plastic playback. Huge run for her birdie. Just tickles the chain on the right side. Basket doesn't want any part of it, but really great run. Mel for her par save.
Ooh, good effort there from Mel.
Mel going up again. Finishing off the hole strong. Looks like she's putting with one of her 2 hexes that she brought with her that day. Colleen punching in her 3.
Brianna with a good putt as well. All these ladies playing this hole pretty solid.
And just a little tap in par for myself, so I believe that is unfortunately not a push.
Is it 3?
Mel's being
This guy.
stolen from 3 of our
That's me back
contestants
truth.
today.
It's overstable in the drain.
Bree is investigating the bag. What will she pick?
And then those are hicks.
They're both hexes.
Choices, so many choices.
They're my faves.
Whatever, I'll take the orange one.
Bree's going with Mel's
One hex for you, one hex for me.
I like the purple.
going with the hex. Oh. And unfortunately, I believe that this takes Mel out for the round. It was so great having her. What great fun. Great competitor.
Yeah, so Mel's out, but we're rolling into hole 7. It's a par 4 here at 460 feet. Kat, how did you tackle this course, or how would you tackle this course from a textbook perspective?
Well, this is a very challenging hole. Being a par 4 heavily wooded hole, you kind of have to break this hole up into at least 2 parts. So the first throw off the tee would have to be similar drive here as Bree, just a nice hyzer with the fairway. Get it as far as you can. You really want to avoid the left side. Being on the right is kind of the better area. But with that, you also don't want to be too far on the right because it kind of pinches you off on the approach shot. So it's a very, very difficult placement shot. And so after that, you kind of just have a take your pick, backhand, forehand approach to the green, which is situated over and down the hump there. You can kind of see on the left-hand side of the screen. I end up getting tangled up in some trees there. Let's see if I can get out.
I'd say that's a good out.
Yeah, not many options there, but forehand, trying to get something way out there as much as possible with what I was given. Breeze is also going with a forehand. Getting a nice little roll. She'll be a little pinched off there. On the right side of the fairway, so looks like Colleen's also in that kind of area. They'll want to do like a backwards backhand type of throw to approach to the basket. Going with another forehand approach, kind of juice it a little bit, end up deep of the basket on the right hand side.
But you're putting.
I'm putting.
And Bree there with a good effort, good upshot, good flick.
Bree's running.
Every day be running. Here on hole 7 at Lafortune Disc Golf Park.
You know, Colleen had a great recovery there from her drive. That was for her 3rd shot. So giving herself a birdie look at this hole is fantastic. I missed my putt, unfortunately, on the am side, as they call it, left side of the basket. Didn't quite catch enough chains. Colleen tapping out her par. And Brianna also getting her par. So with that, I'm taking a bogey.
Say it ain't so, Kat.
Oh. Is anyone surprised?
See, this is so awkward now because I was
Very tough hole. Again, very placement shots are key. So here I'm gonna get 2 discs stolen for my bag. Not gonna be left with very many discs after this. Be hanging on by a thread. Brianna's taking my Blizzard Destroyer. I was really hoping to throw that disc on this hole, but what can you do? That's stiff competition, and Colleen's taking the hex, I believe is Melissa's hex, away from my bag. So what am I left with? I don't know. We'll see.
We'll find out here on hole 8. This is a par 3, 262 feet. Plays like a straight shot. There's a couple trees along the fairway on the way up, and it looks like a shed or a gazebo as well to contend with on the way to the basket. So let's see how Brianna does here at hole 8.
Yeah, that's right. So you can either play for a straight shot up the gut to the basket, but it's very small gap because you have the shed on the right, or you could just play a huge kind of high hyzer backhand with maybe a stable disc in this wind especially. So that Colleen does exactly that with Melissa's Vodum.
I won't lose it.
And looks like I'm throwing my Falk, so I have to get this one on the right amount of hyzer so it doesn't flip up. Flips a little bit, but it kind of stays in, you know, keeps this angle. Getting myself around the shed.
Oh, good run from Brianna there. Chasing chains here on hole 8.
Colleen also running it.
All right, let's see how our Kat Johnson tackles this putt.
I need to make some putts here if I want to stay in the game. So, really trying to take my time.
Yes, nice putt, Kat.
It pays off. I'm just elated to still be in it.
Good putt too from Brianna. And, you know, another fantastic putter here on this card. All these ladies really know how to find the chains.
Absolutely, and that's why they both have 11 discs to their name. That soon will be changing, but you know, their putting has really given them that edge in this game today. So I finally get to
take my
steal
destroyer back.
one of my
Thank you.
discs
You're
back
welcome.
from
I kept it
Brianna.
one
She
bag,
has
he's getting
my
too full,
destroyer,
so I
so unfortunately she has to be my target this hole. But going into hole 9, I'm gonna need that disc. It's a par 4, 447 feet. Again, this hole kind of is broken down into 2 different sections. So the first section, it is a dog leg left to right hole. So you need to get some good distance out to the gap that you can kind of see on the right hand side. A lot of players will be throwing either a straight shot or a bit of a turnover. And then you'll want to set yourself up for maybe a forehand or another backhand turnover to set yourself up to the basket. I hang my disc out a little high and I end up hyzering way out to the left. So, you know, I end up further from the basket than I started. However, the more left you are, the more of an angle, attacking angle you have for the next shot. So it's not that terrible of a spot. Brianna's setting herself up right into the gap. She will be right-hand side of the fairway here is a little bit pinched off from the approach shot. However, you still have options, and Colleen just throws an amazing backhand turnover shot right exactly where you want to be in that gap.
Looks like Kat here lining up for a flick. Let's see if that ulti background comes in handy. trying to get around it all on the way to the basket up the fairway. Looks like a pretty good shot.
Yes, and there is a kind of a circle patch of trees once you get out of that gap, and there is a walking path on both sides. So I luck out and get on the right side walking path. There's going to be a bit of a look there to the basket. Colleen with a huge, another backhand turnover, ends up right in front of that grouping of trees like I was mentioning. She has a nice wide open look for a putt.
Yeah, this looks like a really challenging hole here on hole 9. You know, it's one of the longer holes here at Lafortune. Again, as Kat mentioned, that par 4, you know, really makes you have to think about the hole, how you're going to tackle it, where you're going to land off the tee for that upshot.
Yes, you really have to execute every shot almost to perfection if you want to get that birdie. Otherwise, it's a very tough hole. Colleen just beautiful approach to the basket, looks around close to bullseye there for her birdie putt. Given a bit of a run there for my par, but unfortunately end up a little low.
Oh yeah, good putt from Brianna there. You know, we talk about it in our other videos, other commentary that round she's played, but she's a fantastic putter. Must be all that ready disc golf training she's got under her belt.
Absolutely. All the form lessons, all the, you know, strength and mobility training, it all coming together to make all those fantastic putts that Brianna's got.
And good finish to the hole, Cat, as we round out the first 9 here at Lafortune.
Is that 2 discs being stolen next hole?
One of the best holes. I would say that's probably the signature hole. Very tough. Due to my bogey, I'm getting 2 discs stolen from me. Brianna's taking Melissa's Roo. That disc is just really being passed around. Colleen is trying to guess what disc I'm going to throw in this hole and taking not
sure
that
if you were
disc.
gonna, like,
so thank you,
then
Colleen.
do a switcheroo on me, so I'm like, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah. Ladies card.
That's right.
As we roll into hole 10, and it's a par 3, 287-foot hole. Again, looks like a lot of trees on the way from the tee pad to the basket. Definitely guarded, but how would you tackle this hole, Kat?
So this is a very tricky uphill, downhill hole. You want to throw something that will kind of flip up and then start hyzering back to the left. There's that grouping of trees kind of on the left side of the fairway, you know, on the other side of the hump there that you really want to avoid. There is kind of a little path to the left of them, but it kind of cuts off your approach to the basket. This is a very tough hole to park and get a birdie, because you'll often just end up hitting one of the many trees and ending up getting caught behind them. So very challenging, especially with the elevation changes and just the guarded basket there. So I'm trying to flip up my falk. It ends up on the left side of the trees, but we'll see. Hopefully we're not in too much trouble. As you can see here on the left side of the trees, there's a bit of a line, but still very much protected.
Oh, look at all these trees Brianna has to tackle. Like, pick a gap, hope and a poke.
You know, you need to be a seamstress on this hole. Gotta thread that needle. Some really small gaps here. Lining up forehand with my falk. I think my thought here was to throw something that'll stable up real quick to get left and right of the tree there, but hit a last minute branch. Whew.
You know, I can only imagine what this hole looks like when there's foliage in the summertime. Like, these are the wide open gaps, and definitely a lot of trees to hit on the way up to the basket today on hole 10.
I've got a very awkward approach / bit of a bid at the basket there.
But you're there.
Yeah. No dice. Brianna's going for the run as well. Colleen trying to get around the trees, and bam.
Good putt there from Colleen.
Nice wide straddle.
That footing, that spring footing.
It was extremely muddy and slippery in some parts. This basket was just in a mud pit.
I can understand why you chose the rubber boots now. It all makes sense.
I know Lafortune traditionally in the springtime it gets a bit wet and messy and muddy, so
Well, Brianna this time losing some discs and
You're welcome.
Yeah, you can have the
sparkly
sparkler
in her bag. Thankfully, Kat is going to pick up another one here.
I'm gonna have to take
to
this
her
back. I need a
collection.
real putter.
You know, coming
Can't
up
putt with
to
Fox
two.
anymore.
2 for the back 9 so far.
Like that.
getting my fears back. I can finally putt again. Here we are at hole 11, 276 feet, par 3. What a fun little hole. Baskets perched up on kind of the side of a hill up there, guarded by 2 trees. This, I would say, is just a really fun, like, standard backhand hyzer hole. You know, a lot of us ladies can get there in one shot, or at least come close, or, you know, this is just a really fun hole to try to park. Tee pad here is very caked on with mud. Very tricky footing, hard to get, you know, a really good rip, but catching a bit of a breeze there and end up going a little wide right there with my falk. Brianna lining up her backhand. Looks like she's got her wave in her hand and ends up flexing perfectly around that guardian tree. I would say she's about pin high to the basket for her birdie putt.
Ooh, good flick approach shot there from Kat. Trying to hunt them chains.
Glad I got that fierce back. Otherwise, I don't know what I would have done there.
Good run from Colleen as well. Let's see how Brianna tackles this putt approach shot.
If you know Brianna, you know she's running it. So that was a great bid. Ending up in the bullseye. She'll have a nice tap in.
Good putt from Colleen, and we got a Melissa sighting in the background as well. She might be down, but she's not out cheering on her friends as they go into finish up hole 11.
We were having too much fun, so let the good times roll. Putting out for my par, as is Brianna, and we're moving on to the next hole.
All right, this is hole 12, par 3, 213 feet. And before we get into it, we are going to remind you to, you know, quick reminder here to everyone watching at home or on the road, you know, follow, like, and subscribe to Canadian Disc Golf Productions on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for more amazing Canadian disc golf content. You know, their team worked really hard to produce amazing quality Canadian disc golf coverage, and if you want more video coverage like you see here, just hit that subscribe button. Now back to business here on hole 12.
Hole 12, I'm hanging on with 2 discs, Colleen with 13, Brianna with 9. As I'm so grateful to have that fierce back, because plastic playback.
You got a plastic playback.
Just flipping up my fierce, just the right amount, getting around the trees in the middle of the fairway, and getting a bit of backstop action there, landing myself in circle 1. On this 213-foot par 3, hole 12, a little bit of a downhill tunnel shot, some elevation as well, so, you know, choose your stability wisely. Brianna with a great recovery approach shot. She's got a bit of a obstructed putt, but makes good for her par. Colleen for her 2. And nails it.
And Kat, look at that birdie. Birdie for you.
Birdie fest, 2 birdies on this hole. Love to see it. But unfortunately, that means Brianna's gonna be, she's gonna have 2 discs less in her bag.
Was this one the
She got
truth?
some goodies in there, so let's see what we
this one is-
pick.
Yeah, that's good. Throw this test.
Looks like Colleen's going with the EMAC
What's your most
Truth.
stable
I believe
driver?
it originally belonged to Melissa.
Sure.
I'm eyeing some discs here.
Wait, more stable?
All
Alright,
I
I'll put the You're the
think
worst.
I chose the perfect
Shouldn't have
slash
told me. Well, I'm being honest.
perfect discs. That is one of Brianna's
That is
favorite
the driver I want
waves. So I'm sorry, Brianna, but I really wanted to throw that thing. Might have to throw it here on hole 13. It's a 323-foot par 3. Bit of a tricky line here as the basket is protected by a whole row of trees. So you kind of have to throw like a wide backhand hyzer with just enough stability, like Colleen just did. Beautiful shot. That's exactly what you want to do here. You want to almost push it deep of the basket, have enough distance to make it pass, and then also hyzer into the basket there. So fortunately I catch a tree there on the right, but I'll still have fairly open approach.
And Brianna taking the up the middle approach here. Trying to get that float and creeping up towards the basket right near Colleen, I believe. And we got Kat lining up for her putt. Let's see if she runs it.
Looks like I'm getting ready to do a jump putt here and landing myself a little short. Very ill-advised, but you know, sometimes you have to go for it. Brianna's also hoping to make good for her two. Right under the basket.
Good effort there from Colleen. You can tell she was a bit disappointed with that putt, but still looking pretty for a 3, so, you know, can never be disappointed with pars. Oh, great shot. Great putt from Kat here. What a shot. You can tell the excitement as she runs up, and she gets a plastic playback.
Woo, just hanging on to those left side chains. Thank you, basket, for catching that one, keeping me in the game with that par save. I really needed that.
Yeah, what's that feeling when you make a putt like that?
Oh, just relief and gratitude for chains.
Grateful for chains. As we roll in here to hole 14, it's a par 3, 190-foot hole, and it's actually one of the shortest holes on the course here at Lafortune.
Shortest, but also a little tricky with the line from this tee pad. This is the short tee pad. It's a low ceiling, kind of forces you to throw a backhand turnover given the closeness of the trees on the right side that are almost a little bit positioned in front of the tee pad. Road is not playing as OB from what I know, so that's not so much of a threat, but you really do want to, you know, flip up or turn over a disc left to right on this hole.
I think that's why, you know, all the things you said, that's why Brianna is like going with that, you know, fantastic forehand she has in her bag and plastic playback, because it was so beautiful to watch. That alti background, those alti skills we were talking about earlier.
Well-deserved plastic playback. Sometimes I forget that forehands are even an option, and Brianna just reminds us, hey, that is such a smart play, really well executed, giving herself a great look at a birdie. Just as Colleen just barely misses the top of the basket. That couldn't get any closer.
Kat lining up for a putt in the shadow of the tree, just a little low. And Brianna lining up. Putts, putts, putts all day from her. Love watching her putt. I'm learning a thing or two here.
Absolutely. Putting has been solid all day.
And a good putt from Colleen as we work towards wrapping up hole 14 here at Lafortune Park. There you go, Kat. All done. Hole 14's over. And Melissa smiling in the background.
Just a beautiful sunny day. Getting a bit of that spring warmth back.
I'm not going to
So
take
good
any
vibes all
Kat's
around.
discs.
Look at this. This is a rare sight here on this round. Is
But
you know, Colleen is is getting one of her favorite discs taken away.
My turn.
That was
That's a good one.
I believe so, and it's just such a beautiful, beautiful die, and I think that's what she wants to be throwing on this hole, so well played. As we look at hole 15 here, 264 feet, par 3. This is a pretty big uphill hole. You have a bit of a tunnel shot to begin with, and you want to throw something right to left as the basket is kind of positioned on the left side of the fairway, perched up on a hill. Very tricky shot. You know, getting the right height and the right stability on your disc is very difficult.
It's a very technically challenging course here at Lafortune, you know? They say it's championship level for a good reason. We have a good variety of elevation and fairway types and, you know, challenging gaps to hit. So in hole 15, just another example of the, you know, variety you're getting on this disc golf course.
And it really, hole 15 really sets you up for a tricky upshot. As you can see, the basket is on a very severe slope. So you really have to think about your angles on your approach. You want to match the hill and not fight too hard with gravity, but don't do what I did there. As I end up hyzering right down the hill.
Oh, yes, Brianna. I find myself, you know, cheering along for her and making all these putts. What a great shot.
Brianna's just making all sorts of exciting putts, exciting plays. Really fun to watch. Really putting the pressure on us in this round. And coming up short on this uphill putt, very tricky. It's hard to kind of really see the slope and the angle here, but it's a very severe uphill as it is downhill. But Colleen just makes that putt, catches a bit of a low band, and basket just grabs that for her. Beautiful.
All right, and that's hole 15 here, so we're gonna have some discs exchange.
right.
I think Kat
Oh,
is
I think I know
getting
which
some of
one
her
you're
favorites
taking.
pilfered along.
Finally get it back.
What did
Nice.
Brianna
Thanks for letting me use it for
Took
this
back
hole,
her
though.
wave.
Yeah.
One of her favorite discs.
Colleen looks like she's sussing out the
How do
next
I-
hole, trying to
I
figure
screw
out
her
what
over
to
the
give
mouse
you,
on
what
this
to keep ya.
Yeah, what am I throwing here?
you could always
What's
have
gonna
it
impact me the
back.
least?
Yeah.
Colleen's
like, am I making the right
was
choice?
very kind. She could have
Keep
just
my poker
taken
face off.
the worst possible disc, but very, very nice person.
Thankfully, as we roll in here to hole 16, par 3, 228 feet. Looks like a little bit of a downhill, you know, left to right shot. Kat, how would you tackle this hole?
You're gonna see a lot of forehands, as Brianna is demonstrating here. She's pushing, trying to hit Wally here, main target here, pushing her disc a little deep and to the left, but she'll still have a look at the basket. Colleen opting for the straight shot, which is also a very good option if you just want to take the forehand out of the equation, landing herself in circle 1. I tend to like to forehand kind of like an overstable mid or a putter, but I'm only left with my falk.
Go, Kat, go. That was a great run. Oh, and you get a plastic playback with your falk.
All right. Yep. Nice forehand, flexing it down the fairway. Going for the ace run, just missing the basket by a couple feet. That would have been an exciting one.
All right, Brianna lining up for her shot here. We're talking about her putts all day. I've been, so let's see how she does.
Going for a big straddle putt to get around the tree. A very nice bid, ends up in tap-in range. Colleen just hitting the cage. Here we go, plastic playback on this huge bid by Colleen. It was looking really good until it just dropped. Really good run. So here I am, I'm forced to putt with my one and only remaining disc, my falk. I don't know if I've ever putted this far with a fairway driver, but there's a first for everything. and just rifling it into the chains.
Right in. Show the disc. Show the basket who's boss with your driver.
Keeping myself in the game with my one and only disc left. I needed to get that birdie.
Well, you only need one disc to keep on going, so.
That's right. What better disc than the Falk? Pretty solid disc.
All right, and that's hole 16. Oh, and again, Kat.
All right.
Adding another 1 to her 1 to have 2, but trying to figure out what she's going to take from Colleen.
That's the
Of
one.
course,
Can't
gotta
pull it
take
down
my
it.
Fierce back.
Had it for one
Don't want to
hole.
be putting with a fairway driver every hole, so.
Yeah, especially as we roll into hole 17 here. This is a par 3, 262 foot. Looks like a little bit of a downhill shot with one guardian tree on the right side of the basket. But how are you going to tackle this hole, Kat?
So this hole is just a fun downhill, just grip it and rip it kind of hole. You're kind of forced to throw kind of a straight to flippy shot here because you really don't want to contend with the trees on the right, as well as the left, but you know, it's really easy to go onto the right side if you overturn your disc. So just a nice neutral to straight backhand as Brianna gets a really great height on her disc, skips it on over to, I would say circle 3, circle 2's edge, going for that straight approach shot.
Looks like there's a little bit of water there on the right-hand side. Is that a water hazard that's normally there, or is that a seasonal hazard?
That is a seasonal hazard. Oh, as Colleen would have parked that hole if that tree wasn't there, but what a great straight line.
Ooh, Kat, right off the top. What a good effort here on hole 17.
Lots of ooh moments on this hole.
Makes-
These trees are well positioned, makes for an exciting hole. Go, Colleen!
Slippery little baskets.
For her birdie putt, unfortunately gets a little bit of bad nub action there. But keeping us all in. We don't want her bag to be too heavy, you know?
I'm just thinking about her back and her health and wellness.
Of course, just looking out for each other.
A little fancy footwork there by Brianna as Kat finishes up the hole 17.
Doing some ultimate drills, can't help it.
It's ingrained in you.
Yes. And here we are, final hole of the round. Hole 18, 325 feet, par 3. Big downhill hole. The basket's perched up on a mound. You know, this kind of calls for a straight to turnover line, as you don't want to hyzer anything up too much to the left, as that road you see there is out of bounds. So very technical, as you really just want to get your disc from right to left, left to right here.
Ooh, good stop there. A lot of mud on these tee pads today. Definitely seasonal conditions.
Tricky spring footing. Adjust your footing, adjust your expectations a little bit. Conditions are not ideal, not perfect, but
I think that's a good shot nonetheless. You might be a bit choked up on the right-hand side, but you'll have a good stab at it.
yeah, that's right. You know, I'm happy. It's always a good result when you're not out of bounds on this hole. That's the main goal here. Unfortunately, Bree flips up her wave a little too much, and it doesn't quite make it over into the inbounds area. So, unfortunately, she'll have to take a stroke for that one.
Yeah, I guess a lot of out of bounds here to contend with. Ooh.
Colleen almost skips it in bounds, very close. Just ends up a little bit of a low release, the wind knocking it down as well. We've got a little bit of wind conditions. So here we have Brianna and Colleen will be playing from our drop zone. That I believe this is the drop zone that they typically use in league. I've actually personally never played with this drop zone, but we had course expert Wally here, so he did inform us on how to properly play this hole. Got a tiny little gap through these trees. I'm not sure if I'd have it if it was the summer, but trying to make do with what I have. Kind of getting through all the trees, but ending up a little deep of the basket. Giving myself a little bit of a scary downhill death putt. getting a little scared there and just missing a little too low.
Oh, off the top for Colleen. She'll have to have a comeback putt there, and so let's see how Brianna does. And yeah, more chains for her, finding that basket, finishing up strong on hole 18. Colleen too, finishing up with a putt, and another one from Kat, and that is 18 holes of roulette at Lafortune Park Disc Golf Course.
All right, big high fives and fist bumps all around. That was such a fun round. With that, unfortunately, Colleen will have to be stolen from by two of us. Brianna is taking the back seat. And at this point, last hole doesn't matter, but I will be taking back my FD3. The old awkward, I don't know whether to fist bump you or shake your hand, but Colleen here, you know, even though she just got stolen from, she is our winner. Congratulations to Colleen. She doesn't need those discs anymore. As she walks on off with her big W.
And a big congratulations here. We want to thank Cam Wynn from Diet in the Sky Discs for dyeing all of the trophies for the Russian Roulette or the Roulette Disc Golf Series here. And just to recap those scores after this round, we had Colleen at 11, Brianna at 10, and Kat Johnson with 3.
So thank you very much for watching this Canadian Disc Golf Productions final roulette round of the season. It has been a blast. Please be sure to like, subscribe, follow on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Stay tuned for more amazing content all summer long. Some great tournament coverage coming your way, courtesy of Canadian Disc Golf Productions. This has been Kat Johnson and
Jess Sparrow
signing you out. Have a good one, folks.